Welcome to Week Gen C.
Focused on young adults in the Northwest
And their careers in a post-pandemic world.
Ever wonder how they go from the classroom into your chosen career?
We chat with local STAR employees to find out how they got where they are today.
And what they've learnt along the way.
So hello guys, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Okay. I'm good, thank you. Can I just ask you to introduce yourself and tell me a bit about what you guys do?
Sure. We are Emma and Ryan, Hill Street Hatch, and we are a hospitality incubator startup studio in Belfast. So we currently have a physical space in the Cathedral Quarter of Belfast, and our aim and mission is to help and support hospitality entrepreneurs launch their businesses in a more kind of proof of concept, less risky way, kind of to help in the midst of the global pandemic. We think it's a pretty smart route to market, and we help them and support them through branding, marketing, positioning, and then giving them a physical space to have a residency for 8 weeks.
And what did you both work at before you started with this business?
I can tell you Ryan did. Ryan owns his own digital agency, brand and creative agency called Crown Creative, which is a space here in Belfast, but also in offices in New York. And through that, having spent the last 5 years in New York, Ryan has worked with some of the top clients over there, including some Michelin star restaurants, world's best cocktail bars, and then also I suppose like global hotel chains. So he's kind of like touched it in all points around. Is that a good description? I know you're terribly humble, so you won't describe what you do, but I'm happy. I feel more comfortable describing what you do than what I do myself.
No, you should definitely work for us, because I think that's a way better description than what I could give. But yeah, as Em said, we work across hospitality, doing branding and marketing. So this kind of felt like the perfect transition into something like this and actually starting our own venture. And then Emma comes from a marketing background with a large kind of global gin company that she's the marketing director for in the US, but also has a very varied career prior to marketing, which Emma, I'm sure you'll want to enlighten them on.
Yeah, before this, very bizarrely, before I left and went to New York, I spent 5 years over there, but before we left, I was actually a social worker, interestingly enough. So
Very different.
a very, very different career, certainly, but actually using very, very similar skill sets, believe it or not. It's all about how brains work and how people work together and how we see the world and how we see products. So it's actually not that transferable skills, certainly.
Okay.
But definitely a complete different path.
Mm-hmm. And what were the best things about working in this area or sector? And what did you find most challenging? So the best and the worst.
Working in the hospitality sector.
Yes.
The best thing is working with incredibly talented people around us. Within Northern Ireland itself, there is a wealth of talent here that is like really untapped, and I feel it like people don't really see. People see it, but they are not always given the opportunity. So when we first came back home, we first noticed that, gosh, furlough was a really, really tough time for Northern Ireland, for the hospitality industry, and we just seen this wealth of chefs that were at home, and maybe this is their first time and their only opportunity where they had the time to actually kind of explore these incredible ideas they've had. And we seen like trends happen in New York where people are utilizing Instagram and things like that, where chefs are being really creative. So we automatically knew what a inspiring time, or what an inspiring opportunity that we had to kind of help grow the people around us and help nurture their skills alongside the skill set that we brought. So yeah, I think that was probably part of what we enjoyed the most. But I'd say probably the most difficult part of it was the most difficult, like coronavirus has been rough on people, and
Yeah.
we're very mindful of that, and we're very mindful of the impact of, maybe hospitality and how hospitality is being supported during this time, and we're very mindful of the well-being of the people that we're working with. So I think that's something that was like kind of a good learning experience for us. But yeah, we're growing, and we're learning as we're going.
And your position is quite a niche area, but what advice would you give in general to someone who wants to work in the hospitality industry?
I think it comes down to experience, and like that's the best place to get in early days. And a lot of the chefs that we're working with currently are Michelin trained and have been in some outstanding kitchens that have got world recognition, but they started as pot washers and kitchen porters, and they worked their way up. And I think like hospitality gives you the opportunity to get in early and learn and gather experience, and then sky's the limit in terms of the opportunities. And we think like a vehicle like Hill Street Hatch allows us to really hone in on that talent and work with them in areas where they might not have the skill set, like branding and positioning and marketing, but be able to support them and then say like, you can have equity and ownership into these concepts by us doing what we do best and you doing what you do best, and hopefully that's a recipe for success.
And I hear that the toast office is doing very well. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to have some yet. But what was that like in the very beginning when that idea first came to light? Were you convinced that that would be successful?
I think like we had it deep down that like this was an interesting concept and a brand. We had no idea that there was going to be 400 people queuing in the snow for a cheese toastie. But it's a complete credit to everybody involved. Like Emma and I can sit here and talk about the success of the brand and the concept, but ultimately it's the chefs that are in the kitchen making a fantastic product, and it's the team effort. And I think in hospitality, there's often an emphasis put on food and less of an emphasis on brand, or vice versa. And I think what we're trying to do is make it a holistic effort, that it's like a real 360-degree approach that we respect, one another. So look, I had no idea that it was going to be as successful as it was. We were planning 4-week residency at the Hatch. They're gone at the end of February, and then we were doing kind of outrageous numbers, and everyone was going crazy on TikTok over some cheese toasties. So we made the decision to extend it, and now we've moved it to its own location. We're looking at location number 2. There could be talk about it coming to Derry, who knows? So yeah, there's a lot of exciting things happening with Toast Office, and then hopefully that's just kind of building block and a good testament to what we're trying to do at Hill Street Hatch, is that you can launch concepts differently. You don't need the traditional approach of fitting out a cafe, hiring a load of a lot of staff, and getting into a lot of debt before you even open the doors. We launched Toast Office on a shoestring budget. We were buying secondhand equipment, and we were trying to bootstrap it as much as we can. And thankfully it paid off, and we're hopefully about to do it again in 2 days' time with Rollerboy at Hill Street Hatch. So yeah, it's exciting what we're doing, and hopefully we can have more Toast Office.
Yeah, and the likes of Rollerboy, I know that's sausage rolls, isn't it?
It's yeah, and perhaps a fancy jambon.
Oh yay! Okay, well, how frequently would you get new ideas, or is it more of you take it 6 weeks at a time and then think what's coming next, or do you have a series of ideas already ready to go?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting working with Ryan. I suppose he's quite a unique character in a sense where Ryan is constantly being creative in his thought process of concepts. He's the kind of person that sees a bad font on a menu and won't eat in there, because he's like, it has to be a holistic, it has to be all considered, everything has to be considered. And I think his brain works at a different level. And I always describe this, that Ryan's brain works a little bit differently from a lot of other people's, where he is constantly thinking of ideas. We are undoubtedly inspired by having lived away for a while. We are undoubtedly inspired by the trends that we're seeing in different countries, London, Dublin, New York, it's incredible. And so I think like getting inspiration from other places whilst also honing in our own thoughts and our own ideas, whilst also marrying with a very creative chef. recipe for success, essentially.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
to answer the question about taking it 6 weeks at a time, we think we found the sort of perfect rhythm for these things is that it's hard to have perfection week one, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't strive for perfection week one. We know that there will be things go wrong, and that's part of the process, and that we need to respect that process and allow it time to be refined, and menus get changed and operations get improved. So we're thinking like a 6 to 8 week residency is sort of like the normal approach. But in terms of building brands and concepts, if I showed you the whiteboard behind me, it would be for sore eyes, because I think we're currently doing like 6 concepts in terms of building brands and thinking about what trends we can capitalize on and think are right for the market, both like Belfast and Northern Ireland and within the UK. So I suppose Hill Street Hatch is trying to be a startup studio in a way for hospitality, that we can really create some of the most exciting food and beverage brands that is going to be hopefully trending for 2021 next year and the year after.
Yeah.
Which means there's a lot of work to do, but it's good fun. And like, we're coming from a point of absolute passion and love for this industry. This is a self-funded approach for Emma and I. So this is coming out of somewhere that we love this industry. We see that the way of launching hospitality ventures is a bit outdated, and we can do it differently.
Yeah.
I think that's worth exploring.
Yeah, well, you seem to be taking the scariness and the costliness out of the whole starting the business thing, and I think that's just a really innovative way to get more and more, food places, food places running. So it's really impressive, and I am definitely looking forward to hopefully the toast office coming to Derry, and I look forward to trying it. So thank you so much, both of you, Emma and Ryan, for talking to me today. It was very interesting.
Not a problem, Dara. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. See you later.